Hello children, if you kindly turn your PlayStation history books to page 3, we're about to learn all about God of War. Actually, let's just watch the video. Now, before we dive headlong into the hemoglobin-smeared lore of Kratos and his many killings, a quick kudos to whichever design monkey managed to turn this chip-nosed Nancy with the crumbling genitals into this man with a ginger mane and a guy liner. Thankfully, Kratos kicks Ares' ass in the face with a 100-foot sword to become the new God of War because, let's face it, he's way better, and gives hope to bald men everywhere that you can make it to the top as long as you're angry enough. Anyway, I digress. God of War 1 starts, like all the cool games, on a boat and quickly schools us in the way of pasting monsters into mythical sauce by having Kratos smash things to high hell and then fight a Hydra the size of Athens. Chew on that! We then get a first-hand glimpse of how anti-hero Kratos is when he has the chance to save this man from becoming a posthumous bowel movement, but instead chooses to sling him down the Hydra's gullet. Bye! Kratos does have a soft spot though, and it is right there. I'm joking. He also likes talking goddess statues called Athena. Seriously, he's like putty in her hands. Kratos, you must go forth and rip ancient Greece a brand new one. Okay. So, after a blood-soaked 10 hours or so in which we learn how Kratos butchered his family because Ares told him to. Yeah, if he told you to climb up a giant spike pillar, would you do that too? Kratos walks off the fact that he dies and meets the man from the Hydra's mouth again. Hi! Bye! Pops open Pandora's box, instantly gains about 5 tons and replaces Ares' face with a runway's length of steel. So we're back where we started. Kratos is the God of War and sitting pretty on a massive throne in Mount Olympus, where he lives happily ever after for a bit, before getting bored with the fact he has to watch all the battles now instead of joining in. Besides, all the other deities used to laugh and call him names and wouldn't let poor Kratos join in any deity games, so with a big old shout and swirl of godly anger, Kratos smacks up an enormous statue before getting all his power drained by a magic eagle, conveniently ripping him of all the upgrades you earned over the last 10 hours, and chucking Kratos back to square one. It's like it's the start of a new game or something. Oh wait, it is. It's God of War 2. And it turns out the convenient eagle was in fact Zeus, who wastes no time in showing Kratos he's the meanest mother on the block by running him through with a ruddy great sword. Still, Kratos has been dead before. It's a bit like when you or I get a light sniffle. A bit irritating, but nothing that's going to slow us down too much. And in true form, Kratos soon gets better and finds a flying horse, ideal for showing off the new in-the-sky graphics and for ripping wings off other flying horses. Then God of War 2 does its in the middle of the game bit with a nice level, some cog puzzles, some mountain-sized steeds of time, the basic stuff, until Kratos eventually pings back the clock to when Zeus shivved him in the guts and changes things up by stabbing Athena instead. What an idiot. She also reveals how Zeus is Kratos' dad and how Kronos is his dad, which when you think about the practicalities of it doesn't really make sense. But hey, it's a video game. Flying horse! Now, instead of letting us know what happens next and doing God of War 3, the series goes all paradoxical by doing a tiny little game on PSP called Chains of Olympus that still has action scenes larger than the 100 megaton atomic explosion, like this one where Kratos twats a basilisk in the eye. After sticking it to the Persians, however, Kratos then has to sort out this whole mess with a disappearing son and a nasty bloke called Morpheus. No. And anyway, what a rubbish plan, especially if you're going to outsource it to Underworld Queen Persephone. Look, she's rubbish. Anyway, Kratos finishes her off like a piece of piss and chucks all his worries onto Atlas's shoulders, literally all of them, and then celebrates the fact that God of War 3 is coming next, finally, by whizzing round and round in a fire chariot. Yes! So the series leaps onto the next generation of PlayStation with a titanic scrap against one of the cool gods, Poseidon, which culminates in a QTE game of divine peekaboo. Where's the deity? There he is! Oh. Anyway, this being the start of a new game, Kratos of course dies again and loses all his powers again and strolls out of the underworld unscathed again, except this time he stops off to hamstring Hades once and for all. What follows is a procession of high-profile god killings, including Hercules, who gets beaten to a grizzled pulp with his own gloves, man-mounting Kronos, who loses his nail in what has to be one of the goriest mutilations in the history of God of War, sorry Grandad, and finally Helios, slowly, neck tendon snappily. What was the bloody point of Chains of Olympus? The game of course finishes with a big showdown with God Monarch and Thunderbolt enthusiast Zeus, who challenges Kratos to a game of Street Fighter first, before getting down to the real nitty-gritty of scaling each other's heads in, which by now Kratos is really good at, and he wins. What follows is an enigmatic is he, isn't he sequence in which Kratos sticks himself with the blade of Olympus and Athena storms off in a right old strop, and we're willing to bet all the money that Kratos is very much alive because, as we've seen, it's physically impossible to actually kill the bastard, which would be a great place to end this little sojourn down God of War history lane. But then Kratos goes and has a second fling with PSP in bromance-themed prequel Ghost of Sparta, in which our follically challenged anti-hero duffs up Thanatos, the god of death, to free his brother Deimos from eternal torment. And Deimos dies. And the game ends with Kratos all broody on his throne again.
He's waiting for March 15th, that's why.
Because then he gets to do this, and this, and this in God of War Ascension. It's a date, Kratos. It's a date.